Good morning. My name is Jason.
And my name is Alfred. This is another episode of the WPC podcast, but today we're creating a special edition, biology edition. We're doing this for our biology project, 4.3b sexual selection. So let's get started.
All right, so the first question that we have is what are the factors that control the sexual selection?
Well, typically it's the trend that the females in a species are the ones who do the selecting. And that's typically why many men, especially male species, they display many extravagant qualities.
Yes, and we already see in the example of birds is that a lot of the times females have guided evolution, and that's why most birds, 93%, do not have penises, because the females
Uh,
decided that that is not very attractive. Moving
Another
on.
factor could potentially be environment, like you said, right?
Yes.
Potentially a environment that has a lot of prey could halt such any evolutionary change like this, simply because of the fact that uh, such extravagant qualities could not just attract the females, but attract other prey and end up in the demise in that way.
Yeah, so for example, peacocks, they have very colorful tails, but is that change really beneficial? Well, it is beneficial in that it will give them mates, but it is harmful in that they attract lots of predators. So we believe this is kind of like a forced change, if you will. It is not survival of the fittest, but it's more rather survival of choices.
Yeah, I agree. So the second question is, using examples from the research above, what variations of traits were selected for? And probably the most common one would be color, right?
Yeah, so
Um,
like the birds have a certain preference of a color, but other examples could include behavioral, like you want to build a house, you want to treat females nicer, stuff like that. Those are
uh,
also factors. Or
yeah,
sorry, yeah,
speaking of that,
variations.
architecturally, a
Ah,
man's
yes.
ability to create fine architecture. Um, as I've read, there is a type of bird that creates houses, you could say, or nests specifically made to attract a mate. So that is quite interesting.
Yes, I agree with that. So yes, those are some different variations, and it says how are some beneficial, how are some harmful. Do you have any examples of those? How some could be harmful?
Well, like we mentioned previously, any extravagant qualities, like we mentioned about color or behavior, that that could in turn attract prey, and then that prey could kill those creatures. So obviously, that in that
All
way, it
right,
isn't beneficial.
and
And you could say creating architecture to attract mates is quite a waste of time when
yeah, and
instead they could be.
the benefits is obvious. The benefits is that you get to mate, and then your genes get passed on. And now moving on to the final question, we have, based on your observation from questions 2A and 2B, provide reasons why some variations continue to be present in the population, but be sure to relate this back to the idea of sexual selection. So, um, well, I mean, if the females pick you, that means you'll have children, which means your genes will get passed on. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's mainly about that reproduction because, like you said, the more attractive you are, the more children supposedly you'll have, and that means your specific gene, when you have that genetic mutation of, let's say, um, large plumes or something like that, that's going to get passed on. So that's how the sexual selection aspect factors into this.
All right, and that is the end of our podcast. Thank you for listening.
Goodbye.